Well, it's Monday morning and it's time for me to now grab the brew. It's been in there for about a little over a week. This is the 8th day. It was Sunday week that I started the brew. I may well have cooked the yeast, so I don't know whether this is going to work or not. What I'll do is I'll transfer this to the chair, drag the chair across to the bench in the kitchen, and then we'll decant the contents of the fermenter into the bottles that I've just washed. Quite a tedious process, but it has to be done. These are the ones that I use for the beer. I've still got some left over from the other batch, but what I've done is I've sanitized those. I shook them up with the sanitizer in there, and then rinse them as well. These are the new ones. I've just decided to rinse them because basically it worked last time. I didn't have any problems, and quite frank, I don't want to put too much work into this because I've got very low expectations for this batch. I've got a horrible feeling I have cooked the yeast, although yeast should actually survive in a temperature of up to 140 degrees, so there's no way it got that hot. But there are different types of yeasts as well. Now, brewer's yeast may be more susceptible than, say, baker's yeast, for instance. I don't know. It's a lot of guesswork here. My expectations aren't particularly high, but you've got to have a go, I guess. At least my tomatoes are looking good, so I might actually try one of those today, just see what it tastes like. But yeah, the beer worked well. I didn't have these issues, and the one I really want to get working is this one, but it looks as though I might have botched it, so we'll just see. I've got to go through the process. I've got to put the carbonation drops in each bottle and just let it settle for a few weeks, and then hopefully, well, look, we'll see what the smell's like when I decant it into the bottle. And I might do a reading for the specific density, although I don't think it means much with the hot weather up here, because the figures that are calibrated online are for about a 15-degree average, and way above that here, so it's not very accurate for what I'm doing. Well, I did the grunt work just then. That's moving the fermenter from where it's been stored and been doing its business to the kitchen bench, so I can actually decant it now. I might just get that specific density reading. Again, I don't know if it means much. The good news is when I moved it, just when you move the fermenter around a bit, it can cause a bit of action here, and I heard quite a bit of bubbling. I've also noticed that the level's down quite a bit because it was up higher than that, so it looks as though some fermentation has been happening, so maybe I'm being overly pessimistic. I also looked up people sort of saying how long should you just leave it in the fermenter, because all this stuff about having two measures of specific gravity, I don't know, I think it's BS. Because, look, there's no danger of exploding in the bottles with the carbonation tablets, because they're plastic bottles, they're PET bottles. So it's not going to cause a devastating shards of glass spraying everywhere, so that's not going to happen. By the way, you're not supposed to go any higher than this. This is the line here. It's supposed to be 23 litres when you do it this way. You're supposed to leave amount of air there. I think someone saw my brewing on video online. They thought maybe I'd left it a bit light on there, but that's the way you do it. That's what they specify. So look, there might be something worth drinking here. I've got this little miracle thing. This is a great little design, because you just push it down put it in there, push it down into the bottle, and it'll give you the flow. So it's fantastic. But look, I might just see if I can get that specific gravity reading first, and then we'll get into the bottling, because all the bottling's ready to go now. So we're getting down to the business end. Okay, I just poured some out. It definitely looks like stout. It smells pretty pungent, I've got to say. That's the specific gravity reading. So I started off with 920, and now it's gone right up the other end of the scale. God knows. I don't even know how to really read this, but I guess we're looking at... stop twirling it around. I think we're looking at about... Oh, Jesus. here we go. It's 30, something like 32. So it's gone from, yeah, it's quite a big range. Now I can't remember what that means, but I suspect it might be quite potent. But it looks good. It does actually. It does look good, and it appears as if fermentation had continued. So things could be a lot worse. So now I've just got to bottle it and hope for the best. So, but the head is looking encouraging. That's a good sign. Okay, there's the first pour. So probably could do it a little higher. You're supposed to get as small a distance between the top of the bottle as possible. That's the mechanism there. So I've opened up the spigot, and now you can see the dark liquid all down there. If you push the bottle up there, it activates it so that it fills it. So there you go, my first one done. And I'm feeling a little more confident, so that's good. Okay, I'm at the probably the 2/3 mark of bottling. I've just done all the beer bottles that I used up in the first brew, recycling those. That's 19 bottles, and that's what's left of the brew now. So presumably go down to about that point. I've got another 9 bottles. These are the new ones that I've just rinsed rather than using the sanitizer on as well, because it worked last time. So we'll give that a go, and it'll give me a chance to test out how you know, if the sanitizer really is the bee's knees or not. But it could be after doing one batch, you really should use a sanitizer in there, because there could be some residue from the previous brew. So I can see the rationale behind that. But anyway, I'll just hoe into the last 9 bottles. And then it's just a matter of storing them away for a few weeks, maybe a month, and hopefully it'll be drinkable. Oh, that's all done. I got to 28, and then I had to basically siphon this thing out as much as I possibly could to get this one to 29. I think I forgot to put the drops in before I put the liquid in, so I put the drops in later. If I already put the other drops in, I'll have 4 drops in here. This thing will explode, so I might put this somewhere else. You can tell which one it is because it's so high up. The others I've filled much more, so this will be just like a test one. It's really the dregs of it, so I don't expect much from this one, so we'll just put it aside. At least I know which one it is because of the height. So anyway, all done. So now it's just a clean-up process, and fingers crossed that things work out well in a few weeks. Well, the camera doesn't want to actually switch screens, so I can't tell if I'm in frame or not, but this is the more important thing to take a photo of anyway. This is the fermenter. I'll just put get some purchase on it so I can open it up. Here we go. It might look quite nasty inside. We'll see. Ooh, yeah, look at that. Yeah, you can see all that stuff's got to be cleaned. It's all the gunge from the yeast and what have you, and I'll use the hose to basically clean this out, so it's not all glamour with home brewing, that's for sure. So I better get this crap out of the way right now. Like I say, it does smell like beer, so that's a good sign, I guess. The airlock was very dirty. That concerns me a little bit, so not sure how that's going to go, and hopefully this video will work, because it looks as though the camera's, it may not be doing the voice instruction with switch, so I can switch to the front screen, but at least it actually seems to be filming now. So I'll just get this cleaned out, and that'll be the end of that process. I don't want to leave all this crap to accumulate, best to get it cleaned up straight away, so I'll do that now. In a brainstorm, what I'll do is I'll pour the contents of the fermenter into the compost bin, because you need moisture to break down all this crap. So I don't know what's going to make of home brew, but what the hell, it's organic crap. It should be all right. We'll see how we go. There's the container, the fermenter. It's empty now. What I'll do is I'll pour some water in from the hose, give it a bit of a scrub around, try to clean it up as much as I can, and I'll throw the rest of the contents into that compost bin. It all helps. A bit of moisture with those leaves will help break down the all that material, so it's a good thing to do. Well, I just used the voice command, start recording, and it actually worked. So that's pretty good. Yeah, this particular camera went haywire yesterday. I'll just give you a long shot and you can see my new t-shirt. I wonder how many of you realise what that's actually saying. If you'd seen one of my videos, you'd have a pretty good idea, because I did explain it. So, yes, Brandon is a champion NASCAR driver, and I have absolutely no interest in NASCAR driving, so that gives you a hint. Anyway, it's getting hot and steamy here. It's going to be about 32 degrees today, so pretty damn warm. That tree got hit by one of the numerous palm fronds, and they just keep dropping. I'm trying to put them under control today. I threw several out in with the rubbish today, collection day. So every week from now on, I'm going to try to reduce the amount of fronds. One, by throwing them out in the rubbish, and secondly, putting them in the compost bin. But I might need to buy another compost bin, I think. So yeah, this tree was actually struck by a couple of fronds, and it still hasn't recovered. You can see it's swaying across. It hasn't got the its vertical orientation back for some reason. It looks healthy, but I want it to sort of grow tall again, but it seems a bit shy. Now what I do have is some tomato stakes. I can put them in, and that will protect it a bit. It'll hold it into a more vertical orientation. So that may not be such a bad idea. A little bit of a breeze, God, I tell you, need it. It really is warm. I mean, it's an early summer, the way it feels to me. These capsicums are going extremely well, and now that capsicum there is bigger than the one here, which is the original one that came up. So it's a much healthier looking plant. In future, if I want to grow capsicums, I'll put them into big pots together. They seem to do well that way, so that seems to be what I've learnt from this. Yeah, I did a little bit of gardening today, got rid of some leaves and stuff, and I'm put them dry leaves into the compost bin, and I'm immersing them with liquid that's the new 300 litre compost bin, and I'm going to need it. I'm going to need to do some mowing today, because I've been watering around this area. Oh, that just reminds me, I just can't seem to get this to grow. So what I'm thinking of this lemon tree, I'm thinking of maybe putting some cow manure compost down there around it and try to encourage it to grow, because apparently they do like a lot of feeding. So now the good news is regarding this, apart from the fact I have to keep treating it with pyrethrum spray, because there's certain little insects here that just love eating away at it. But the good news is, if you look closely here, you will see that there's a flower. I hope you can see that. Switch. No, it won't switch while it's actually recording, unfortunately. That should be in frame anyway. I'm just guessing, so that's why I'm saying that. So that should turn into a berry, basically. So that's the beginning. It's looking very healthy. It's grown quite a bit. It's definitely taller than it was when I planted it. Okay, for some reason it stopped recording then, but I'm using the voice command to start the recording, and that seems to work well anyway. So and here's the Tahitian lime, and again, really doing well with the growth, but just no fruit coming out. But that'll happen, I guess. Not quite sure why that's doing better. It gets more sun, I guess. Both of these plants certainly get the afternoon sun. This gets more morning sun, and maybe that's why it's doing better. It's all looking pretty ratty here. I hate these pebbles anyway. I'd rather get rid of them and have this into some... Well, I don't mind having the steps, but I don't like just plain old grey ones. I want something a little more interest, maybe terracotta colour or something. You can paint these things, and I've got a stack of extra ones out the back that I can use. So, but I don't like the pebbles. That doesn't do anything for me. And it's a strange design. It looks like there was an entranceway there, a gateway at some stage, but not now. And I really want to get this happening with the fernery just here. So I've been very slack. I just transplanted a couple of plants into bigger pots. but they may do worse because I don't know if they really like it that much, the having to being transplanted, the capsicums. They seem to do better if you just leave them. So these are the 3 plants in question that are just transplanted today. They were quite root bound, so they were doing very well, and they're very healthy, but whether they'll appreciate the extra space or not, I don't know. They may be traumatized by the fact I've replanted them. So yeah, it's funny how they've got these little quirks. So look, I better take this out the front and just put some manure on top of the lemon tree and get that happening now. Please consider subscribing to my channel if you think there's anything there of use to you or entertainment or whatever. And either do that or give me a thumbs up, or if you're feeling really energetic, do both. That'd be great.